Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night. Time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And Tony, would you like to introduce our very special guest?
Sure. Behind the movie Cabin Break, we have the directors, the actors, actresses, and a little bit of everything, actually.
Yes.
So I don't know who you're going to first.
Let's start with the husband and wife duo.
All right. So we do have Angel and Daniela Rosario. Hopefully I said that right. I'm horrible with pronunciation, so if I mess up your names, don't worry. Well, you can worry, but I just suck.
Worry for your well-being, yes. But that's correct, right?
Yes, correct.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us.
And Tony, we have
Michael. I'm probably going to butcher your last name, Ricci.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
there you go.
What is it? Ricky,
well, yeah, if we were in Italy, Ricci is fine, but we're in America, so it's Ricci, like the actress Christina, who is my fourth cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
Nice.
What do you know?
That's amazing.
And Tony, if I'm saying this right, Tony has 9 fingers. That's how I should
Tony has 9 fingers with a question mark? Fingers. So there's this is letter in there I don't recognize. It's I think it's called an R. Fingers. All right. So commence the questions. I'm going to go look at my email real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. So Cabin Break. What is this movie about? What is the audience going to expect from this movie?
Well, Cabin Break is about a couple who go on a retreat into a community without realizing they are a group of cannibals. They're very modern, they're very well-mannered, and so they don't really know this is the case. So they go into the cabin that is hosted by one of the people that are bringing them in, and they end up going to their diner, which is actually his wife, who is also trying to lure them in. So it's definitely a freakishly scary. You just have to see it. To be completely honest.
Angel's underselling kind of what we're doing here. So Angel and I met back in like January, February. An actor friend of mine, Rick DeMont, who's in the project, he plays Al. Rick had gotten into this project with Angel and was kind of like, where is this project at? Like, how do we make this, And he contacted me, and I've been in the industry a while. I work in locations and location scouting, and I've even worked in Jersey lately, and we have a show coming about Aaron Hernandez that we filmed all in New Jersey, not far from where you live, I think, Tony, in Floral Park, not where the Jets are, but nearby there. And New Jersey is great for horror. I basically met Angel, and then I went to the New Jersey Horror Con earlier this year and was like hooked. I was like, wait, what is this? This is incredible. This is like everything. I thought cons were something totally different. And then I was like, Angel, let's make your script. And how do we make it? It's a feature script, and it's a very good one. But I was like, we don't have $200,000. So how do we do that? Well, we made this trailer. And we did enough to get a short, and we did it very cheaply, and we think we can do it for other people. So my main pitch here, and the main reason to be on the show, which is like me stealing the spotlight right now, is, if you have a horror script and you want to get it made, and you think we can find some chunk of change somewhere less than 10 grand, which is not the most amount of money, you can make a trailer and a short. And my idea is to stitch these trailers together, stitch these shorts together, and make feature films out of them in a shared universe, maybe that starts with a little cabin in the woods called Cabn Break.
Nice.
And Angel is a first-time director. It's the first thing he's ever done. His wife Danielle has been in a few things, including Pretty Little Liars, which is shot nearby where they are in Poughkeepsie. Filming is thriving out like in the boroughs, but outer boroughs, and moving up into upstate New York, you get 40%. Out into Jersey. Jersey is inked film credits through 2030. They film Smile there. They film Terrifier there. They film Stream there. They film, keep going. And so I just kind of saw something here where, I've been working in this industry a long time. I've been getting kicked to the nuts the last 5 years with everything. And I'm a pretty good scout. Like people hire me and people that know me are laughing right now. And they're like, look at this guy on TV saying he's a good scout. But I really love horror, and I made a few horror films early when I was indie, and I was like, let me go back to indie. Let me try this. And I found Angel and Daniela, and I found a community to bring us to, like you guys, who really talk to some pretty amazing people and are giving us a real shot here. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and let you guys ask more questions. But thank you for having us on the show. Thank you for giving little tiny, we're like the Sri Lanka in the Olympics of, horror here, and to have a shot with you guys and be airing this trailer later this episode is kind of amazing.
Yeah. Well, first off, I can't play the one you sent me because it's I'm running a Windows machine and it's a movie file.
Angel, fix that.
I'm just no, he doesn't have to. I can still play the other one. It's fine.
Okay.
But it's it is what it is. I'm just too poor for another Mac.
No, it's fine.
It is what. Yeah.
They're pricey.
So they are. I'm still. At my house. I'm not at my house. I'm dealing with house stuff. Hence, me being in my in-laws' attic. But I have a Mac there, but it's from 2013. It still works, but it's my media server.
2013.
And you said you needed to be MP4.
I mean, if it's doable, I don't want you to bog your system down or anything while we're going.
I'm doing it right now.
It's like we're pulling the curtain back and everyone can see Oz back there. Like the making of the show.
Yeah.
And also
one. I was gonna say don't feel like, oh, thank you we're just a little thing. Like we have filmmakers on here that have never even made a movie. Like they're trying to make their first movie all the way up to like some big names,
No, like, I get that. I get that. I don't know how to be grateful enough. Like if you were Alice Cooper, I'm not worthy. I'm not just because I'm just not in general.
We're not worthy.
No, you're not either. We're all not. Like,
none of us are worthy.
Slime balls, and it's fine.
I just got back from a really crazy day at work, so none of us are worthy.
That's the thing. You mentioned like even lower budget. I mean, we've had look at some of the indie films that have come out recently. I mean, Skinamarink was made on a shoestring budget, and they've been, they got, their movie played in theaters and stuff like that. So
they made millions.
We've said it plenty of times. It doesn't matter how much the movie is. It depends on if you have the equipment and you know how to use it. Because there's been people that use
even
the top of the line equipment, and it looks like crap. And there's other people that use, your everyday thing, know how to use it, and then the movie looks amazing.
And then there's just dumb luck, Tony.
It totally is.
I was working on a big finale of a big show, and I had to be working, and Angel and Daniela ran the set and shot, what you guys are going to see, and I wasn't even there. And on one end, I was like shedding tears, but I was also on set, so I was doing something else, which felt like double dipping. And then later, I felt like a GD boss because I was like, I wasn't even there. Like that's a real boss. You're not even there. You're not boots on the ground. You're in a plane to, Barbados or somewhere. Like that's the goal, right?
Nice.
And not to mention, in the midst of all that craziness, we got catfished by our sound guy.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
So he didn't even show up. We paid him the money. We're thinking he's going to show up, and he just didn't.
Well, if I can verbal NDA your entire audience, I would say it gave us an idea for a movie called Scam, and you can imagine what it's about.
Oh, totally.
Because everyone's getting scammed. Hey, kids, don't click the link. Don't get scammed out there.
So without going super into like details, I work for homeless shelters, and Worcester, Massachusetts. And like,
very nice.
we have clients that come to us and they're like, oh yeah, I think I found an apartment. And I'm like, did they ask you for a deposit before you could even look at the place? And I'm like, they're like, oh yeah. Like, don't give them a deposit. They're scamming you. It's like a 3-bedroom in Worcester for like $1,500. That's not real.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real.
I was talking to a guy and he was on the phone with his brother and he got off the phone with his brother and he was like, hold on, I'm getting another call. And they called him. They were like, your brother's in jail. He needs help. Like, help him out. And the guy was like, yeah.
Give me one second. Are you in jail? Yeah.
How's he doing? Is he good? And it's just like, yeah, that's how it is today. You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
it's unfortunate.
That's
Exactly.
tricky out here. It's a little hard.
But they
Real
powered
quick.
through it on the day and we were still able to get, what we got. And it's not perfect, but it didn't need to be because it was supposed to be this sort of grindhouse trailer. The idea was just to kind of show our style, but then I think we kind of proved to ourselves that we could do this. And at that budget level, I mean, you're talking about having something physical of what you wrote. Like, if that's what you want, people have been asking me, like, I won't like say who or whatever, but the as far as the community too, like, some people say they're part of this community, they're kind of not, and like, I don't want to just charge in and be someone who's like, oh, here I am now, I want to earn it and over time and like earn my seat, sort of. Like, I kind of like walk into a con now and I'm like, wow, I could sit at one of those tables. Like, people would want to see me, maybe. Like, cool. Wow, I had no idea, and I've worked with a lot of big actors and stuff, but they wouldn't have to do this, or this wouldn't have to be a revenue stream. But like, I just see it as way more reliable and way more like in the zeitgeist than people think post-COVID. People really want it in person. These cast machines at these cons empty out.
Yeah,
it's so much money.
And not to mention, out of every other genre, I've seen people switch from genre back and forth, saying, "Oh yeah, I love horror. I like romance. Maybe action today. Maybe thriller." But one thing that's been consistent that always sticks, at least for me, has been horror.
Yeah.
All the way back to, what was the first movie I've seen? Was the 1986. Not Trick or Treat with Sam, but the 1986 Trick or Treat.
Ozzy Osbourne.
There's a few of those,
Ozzy Osbourne and Gene Simmons.
Yeah, Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
That was the one movie that made me, one, fall in love with horror, and two, introduced me to rock. And I was all in it.
I had a different crossover. I was thinking about this because I know what I love. I know what really scares me. Some people want to know that, like, what really actually scares you. And then, like, what really got you started. Well, I'd have to go back pretty far, actually. And I was probably a kid, like under 10, and it was Jaws. And it was way more than that because we went to Martha's Vineyard every year.
Yeah.
And we jumped off.
You're a local to it. Yeah.
Dude, I jump off. Like, if you've never been there to jump off the Jaws Bridge and you love that movie, go do it. Tony, go do it.
Make the trip. I've never met Tony in real life, so
high tide. You need high tide for that. Yeah. But, no, it's incredible. It's just like, oh wow, that's Chappaquiddick. That's the little ferry. He gets trapped by the mayor on that little ferry. That's where it was. That's amazing, and probably inspired me to do a lot of other things that I've done in work and stuff like that. But yeah, horror always brings me back. I love to be scared. I love to scare. I've always loved it, and I think finding the cons and finding these communities and really believing that a little movie could exist and we could make it and potentially launch a business of doing that is like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I want to do it all the time, and I'm not making any money on it, but maybe I will. Hopefully, I will.
Right. That's the thing is, like, even going back to like Terrifier you mentioned earlier. It's like, if they didn't get on Netflix when they did, I don't know if it would have blown up as much as it has, because they were like right on the main page at the right time. And there was a kind of resurgence of clown movies, but art looked different, and it was
it's different for me. Like, do I want us to be them in some ways? Yes, sure. I'm not going to say jealousy, but like respect, like
totally
respect, to my elders, but not my style. Not my style
at
all.
Right. And it's not there's a lot of people where it's not their style.
And that's a beauty of horror.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because there's
so
many
many
subgenres.
meeting me, but you're gonna barely get a word in edgewise. So that's
Okay.
why art isn't for me. Like, give me Freddie over Jason, talk all day long. I want to talk, and to just have Jason just sit there and do nothing and have Art sit there and just smile is like not enough.
Yeah.
Even Ghostface, I love Ghostface, but he's got to be on the phone. He's got to be on the phone. You know, that's got to be when it's happening. And that's my style. You know,
So
the more
here's something.
psychological.
I've never seen a Scream movie.
I love Scream.
Per choice or per chance?
per choice. And I actually do the occasional podcast with one of the actresses that was in the original Scream, because she knows nothing about horror movies.
Who's that?
Nancy Ann Ritter. She was one of the girls in the bathroom that was like talking shit. It's like
Oh.
bubble butt boyfriend, like that one.
Do you not like Kevin Williamson? Do you not like Wes Craven or-
When the first one came out, I was jaded and I was like, look at all these famous people thinking that they're gonna make a horror movie, whatever, you know. So I'm like, ugh, whatever. Get your famous face out of here.
My buddy, shout out to my buddy Mike, Mike's Monsters in Stamford, Connecticut. He just opened a store there. It's pretty awesome. He will tell you ask him what day of the week it is, and he will tell you his favorite. I will generally tell you Scream because for me, it reinvigorated horror. It brought horror back from the dead, it felt like, and it did it so strong and so meta for so long and talked about it. You know, some of the characters from Scream, like Jamie Kennedy's character is an iconic character for us, for the people who love these movies. You know, they even continued that somehow with his sister's kids or something, and they were able to continue it. But those are the things that I think Scream did for me.
Yeah.
It made it like, it brought it into my world. I'm in high school. We make prank calls. This could happen.
I'm definitely older than I think all of you.
It's funny.
I'm pretty sure I was out of high school when it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
For me, I saw it probably too young. I think I saw it on cable, but it would have been Poltergeist.
Oh, scared the shit out of me. I had braces.
Love it.
Oh, really?
The braces thing. Remember that?
The clown under the bed did it for me.
Yeah.
It still does. Honestly, I'll watch it now and I'm like, I know it's coming, but I'm still going to be like, oh crap, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, the clown's going to come out again.
The
like,
combo of stuff in that movie, the tree, the light, like the light everywhere was a wild thing. The light kind of reminded me of Hellraiser. Poltergeist is like a mix of a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That was like one of the ones that first really kind of stuck with me. You know, there's been a few moments in horror that have stuck with me for sure.
Yeah. I always thought with Poltergeist, I always just thought like bad urban planning, very bad urban planning, you know, politics.
And what are your opinions on if Tobe Hooper directed it or not?
I mean, I don't know. Like I'm big on that stuff because I've been on a lot of sets and I know stuff people don't know and the way stuff could have gone. So it's possible.
I think he did, but obviously Spielberg was there to be like, hey, why don't you do this a little bit different?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Tobe Hooper. Hey, we're going to do this a little bit different, you know?
I would say the only experience I have with that is I've worked with David O. Russell, and that is a horror movie alone. So he was just so maniacal with his movies that he would write great stuff and we get nominated, but it was such a weird thing to work on because everything would change on a dime. And then to see on American Hustle, see it get nominated for 10 things and win nothing, it felt like a joke. It felt like someone played a joke on someone. And it's hard to know what's going on when someone doesn't want to take credit or does want to take credit and they put a fake name, whatever. It generally just means everyone's backing away because it's bad, you know.
Unless I'm thinking of the wrong movie. I think a lot of American Hustle was actually filmed in Worcester.
Yeah, no, it was. That's why I was going there.
Yeah, because I was like, they wanted that place to look like old.
Yeah.
Old
I'll
New
tell
Jersey.
you the story. I'll tell you the story why that happened exactly. And I kind of led you to it, and now you're bringing me to it. I was working for that production, and I was basically gophering between Boston and Worcester. They went to Worcester because David O. Russell wanted a floor in the John Hancock. Well, you couldn't have it. There was nothing available. That architect did a building in Worcester that's the same as John Hancock, but it's just in Worcester. But no one knows it as John because it's in Worcester. So they were there, and it was like the FBI headquarters where Bradley Cooper is, and they do a big look up of the building, like it's a cool zoom in at the door and then look up, and then he's inside at the blinds looking out, and it was cool. And we had like a FBI interrogation room in there where he beats the guy up. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so they decided to do it in Worcester. So I'm running back and forth, and I have to bring stuff to Worcester to bring to David O. Russell's assistant, right? So I get there. This is a crazy day, my man. You'll remember this day, I think. And I'm getting the set, and they have all these green walls up everywhere to block stuff from the street, like we do in New York for the construction, you know. And they're running the traffic, 5 lanes of traffic in different directions, and they'll reset it, whatever. The whole thing's wonky. I run in between a take, and I run into Bradley Cooper, and I get some blood on the stuff because he's got fake blood on him, and he's got an afro. And I'm like, sorry, Mr. Cooper. And he's like, get out of here, kid. You bother me. And then I get him the stuff, and I really have to go to bath. I get it to the assistant, and I'm good to go. Okay, hand it off. See you later. I really have to go to bathroom. So I run in the bathroom. Everyone's looking at the TV, and I don't know why. I come into the bathroom. Boston Marathon bombing just happened.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm in Worcester, and I'm on set, and they won't release us to leave. And my wife was there on a train under the blast, and I was trying to get a hold of her. And they were all worried about their pets. All the actors and the producers were like, oh, our pets are in the hotels. What do we do? And I'm like, I don't care. This is insane, you know. And then the rest of that week and everything else that happened. But yeah, talk about life like smashing like a train into a movie set. It was crazy.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot in Worcester.
It looks like everything. It's like White Plains, like Westchester County, New York. Looks like anything. Baltimore, DC, nondescript skyline.
They were just filming like Walking Dead stuff.
Yeah.
They were just filming Walking Dead stuff there, like on rooftops, I guess, making it rain and like on rooftops.
Yeah.
And
they did one season of that in Jersey. They had a bunch of them there. They were out of the old Izod Center where the Nets used to play. They moved out of there to go to Brooklyn. For some reason, AMC pulled out of New Jersey and they went up to Massachusetts, and they decided to do it there.
Yeah, they were only here for like a few weeks, or maybe like a week and a half or something like that, because they didn't even consider the people living there. They gave them one of the buildings that they were on is one of my coworkers' buildings that she lives in.
That's cool.
Yeah, they gave them I want to say a 2-hour notice. Yeah. And
before what? Before a zombie horde?
Before they were locking everything up. So she couldn't get out of her parking garage.
Wow.
And they wouldn't even let her get into her parking garage to get to her car so she could grab her work computer.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, this is pretty awesome.
That's not how I would run that department, but
yeah,
that happens. My buddy was working on the new Penguin up in Yonkers, and he showed me some of the roads where they faked this flood, and everything looks like it had been, the floodwaters receded. And I was like, yo, you kept those streets open. That looks awesome. New Penguin looks cool. Yeah. I was skeptical about a show spinning off from a movie, but that show looks cool. It's a gangster show, which is interesting. It's not, it does. Batman sometimes edges on the supernatural, right? But this seems much more gangster, and Colin Farrell in that suit looks good. So,
he looked awesome. So first off, J-Man is saying, "Hey Tony, how are you doing today?" I'm assuming he's one of your TikTok guys, your TikTok friends. And Sergio's in the chat saying hi to everybody, and he wants to know if we have a trailer. We do have a trailer. We'll be playing it a little bit later. But yeah, let's get into more discussion about Cabn Break. So
Tony, I think you're muted. It says you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah. There he goes. Oh, he has a voice. So yeah, I was talking about this earlier. I mean, like I said, we've been working like this year on this, and we kind of figured out like, hey, if we can shoot something like basically what you would call a point of concept, we're kind of like, people are like, oh, it's just a trailer. There's no movie. We're like, we have a trailer. Wink, wink. Like any press is good press. But we're really proud of the trailer. We're working on finishing the short. We want to start submitting the short to festivals. We definitely are going to go for New Jersey Horror Con. They announced those dates, March 1st and 2nd. So we're going to go for that. My buddy Chris Stiles, Pop Culture Punk over there, does a lot of the panels and everything. He was our editor for the main chunk of the short. Angel did some polishing. Chris also did, sound and color, and ran some passes for us. And then Adam, our DP, he lives near me in Brooklyn. And we just kind of got a core together and shot this over a couple of days. And we're really proud of it. We want to make it as a feature. We obviously don't have that money, but we are trying to talk to people out there about that. And then the idea is to do more of this. You know, we have the resources to do this. We've shown that we can do it. Like I said, for very minimal 5 figures, we can pull this off for your movie too. I almost want like a Ghostbusters commercial, you know, like you need a trailer and you need a trailer. But the idea is put them all in the same universe, and these characters can interact with each other, and we can stitch these shorts and things together and make characters and make features.
Could be an anthology or something. Even
yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
Make it like
I'm a
full
big
feature.
Creep Show guy. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt. Yeah.
So you make a few shorts and then you put them together, especially if it's going to be in the same like universe. Then you can have 10-minute short of 5, because nowadays it seems like anthology films are, I don't want to say the new craze, but before it was just like the Creep Show and the Trick or Treat and stuff like that. But these last couple years, I mean, I think there's been a lot more anthology films put together now. So
it's almost like an incubator. It's like it just gets ideas flowing. Like Terrifier came from an anthology type film. He was just a character in that thing, and people like, what was that? We want that. Look, you guys tell us. You watch this trailer. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you hate. Tell us what you want more of. But do it with us. Make stuff. Let's make stuff. I work for the man a lot, and I like to say that it's art and that I am a craftsman, and I am, and that's true. But when I'm working for 20th Century or Hulu or Disney, it's just not the same thing. With this, there's no rules. We can do what we want to do. We can say what we want to say. And if horror wants to say something different in 2025, then I want to be part of that conversation, And I see the industry too. And like, I like A24, but it doesn't have to be the end all be all of everything,
Not everything they do is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, but there's also other companies out there that put out awesome stuff too. It's just that their stuff gets in the main theaters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And look, if they sell, what's that going to do?
Right.
I worked a lot for a company called Jax Media for a while. We did a show called Search Party. They had a lot of cool shows that were on Netflix and whatever. And they got bought by Imagine Entertainment, and poof, what's Imagine doing? I don't know. I thought Sony was going to buy Paramount a couple weeks ago, and they bought Alamo Drafthouse instead. Like, what's going on? So it's hard to tell, but I think and hear that A24 is going to sell, and I think that makes a little bit of a vacuum for theaters. And if 2025, 2026, look, Cabn Break's the movie, but we are also Dark Cabin Productions is the productions. On Zoom, I have a lot more backgrounds, so you guys kind of strip me bare of all my backgrounds. But definitely check us out on Instagram at Dark Cabin Production and at Cabn Break Film. We want to do more of this, make more of this. And look, Tony's got 9 fingers. He's got 9 ideas. So we got to set a sidebar meeting.
He's got 9 ideas. How come you haven't told me any of these ideas, Tony?
Because they're all secret.
I thought we've been friends.
Kevin, have you ever noticed I'm a bit of a muse? I like tease it out of people.
I know. I'm just
now with this, we were talking about how everybody, enjoyed earlier horror and stuff like that. Is there any homage paid from this? Because I think the cannibal stuff was a little bit earlier in the day. So, I mean, you had your Cannibal Ferox and Cannibal Holocaust and stuff like that. But then you had,
I'll be real quick,
your Texas Chainsaw Massacre type.
Yeah, you're hitting them, Tony. You're hitting them.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, and that's a one thing too, I must say.
That's nice.
Traditional style, Leatherface. Really nice. Just gonna say.
So look, I'm gonna Angel directed this film. I'm gonna let Angel talk. I swear. Yes. I'm just gonna say we have recorded Zooms, and I could show you the footage. But I said a lot about the family, and I'm not gonna say too much here. But in relation to our trailer, I said a lot about the family dynamic of Texas Chainsaw and the meal at the table there, and just take that and put that on your mind for later. And then the style, the gonzo style of something like Natural Born Killers, Rob Zombie, and all that. And Angel and I met Bill Moseley last week, so that
he's great, isn't he? Isn't he awesome?
He's really
awesome.
He just got back to doing stuff because he was like injured, I guess. Like,
yeah, I mean, he's older, and
he got hit by like an e-bike or something, like on a trail.
Yeah.
Wow. He didn't really talk about that too much. They gave him an award at the con at New Jersey Horror Con. The last one they gave Kane Hodder an award. So it's pretty cool. Kane's a lot of fun too. Kane played a joke on me. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a good dude. There was a movie that he was involved in that could have been a lot better if some of the producers didn't get as involved as they did. And myself and my cousin.
Tell it like it is. I like that.
Yeah, we went and did a documentary about the making of it. It was a movie that was originally written by Gunnar Hansen, aka Leatherface.
Yeah.
And I was glad, I was happy to be somewhat part of it. And we put out a documentary that was that was shown in some horror festivals and stuff like that. And then the movie ended up not being so great.
That happens.
Which stinks. But I interviewed him on set in a prison in Pennsylvania, and he choked me out in a prison. And
even scouting prisons is rough.
Oh yeah, this is great. Yeah. We were just wandering around, and like while they were doing takes, we're just like, "Hey, let's go down here," and like, whatever. It was just super creepy, and I'm like, they're like stopping at the end of the hallway, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm like, it's daytime. Who cares?
So I'm gonna officially just pass it over to Angel because I said I would, and I said those things that I said, and now he's gonna talk about Cabn Break and
okay.
Well, you said most of it.
I know. Sorry.
Well,
there's more to say.
Cabn Break was inspired by Texas Chainsaw, as well as some of the Rob Zombies, the Firefly trilogies.
Yes.
Anything that had to do with it's not just one, it's a whole collective of killers, of this ideology of this is who they are. And because they are so uniformed, no one can really stop them. If it's just one, a couple of people might be able to overpower them.
Yeah.
Unless you're like Jason, then you're done. Or Leatherface throwing a freaking
I think for me, it's like the culture of things too. There's other movies like, what's that really weird movie that Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd did?
Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah, it's like that. Like the whole house, the whole culture, the town, the sheriff, everyone's down on this payroll, and it's just weird, like a Twilight Zone episode would be, or like a Tales from the Crypts, episode would be.
The whole town's involved. They're all in on it.
Maybe. I mean,
and you're the one guy who's not supposed to be there. Yeah.
I mean, you hit on it, Kevin, right? Like sometimes you work on this movie, you're not sure. I was very adamant with Angel very early. It has to be believable the whole way through. How can they get away with this? How can they do what they do? And we've pulled back. I mean, we have other big influences for what the feature would be that we're not talking about right now because it's not in the trailer and it's not appropriate right now. We have said Cannibal, and you've said all the right things, Tony. Yeah. Coming up, Hudson Valley Horror Fest next weekend. There's a guy from Cannibal Holocaust there. I'm more interested in the guy from The Howling that's there. But yes, Cannibal Holocaust. We're not really in the jungle. This isn't like, this isn't that. I look, if I was ever going to do an actual zombie thing, it would probably want to come from voodoo because I grew up and read Tales from the Crypt comics. I even have one where it was voodoo that made the zombies, and like with The Howling, I think I'm so on that because I totally forgot that a werewolf is basically immortal. They can die and come back from the dead and die and come back from the dead. Like that's kind of a cheat code, But we didn't want to get into that too deep with this. We wanted more natural, like everyday, believable. You get lost down a road and you end up at this place, and then what do? That type of thing.
Yeah. And it's funny because I also, when touching on the cannibal aspect of everything, the one thing that I was trying to steer clear from,
we lost Tony for a second. Go ahead.
That's all right.
He'll come back.
Yeah, the one thing I was trying to include is something a little bit more. I didn't want someone to really get sick to their stomach watching it. I wanted them to be, I wanted it to mess with their head to the point that they're intrigued by it. They're salivating watching it.
Yeah.
Something similar to like Hannibal, or like while he's eating the person's brain, if you didn't even know that was a person's brain, you just saw it on the plate. It looks delightful.
It just looks like food.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just,
and that's a good
Where is
point
your
to
moral
not
compass?
to not start off that way, because
Mhm.
sometimes if directors are like, oh, this is the dude who made that super gory movie, they're going to be expecting that from you every time, and then if you don't pay up, they're like, I'm not fans of them anymore. Like,
yeah, exactly. And I wanted to get into the person's head before I just showed them blood, gore, and tits. I didn't. I wanted to really get into their head and really have them question their own sanity before they even have a chance to have all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like in our characters, we know where they're coming from. We know where they're going. Like, we know their personal goals. Like, we kind of plotted all that out, and we kind of even have an idea of somehow some of their personal goals interact with the movie and the idea of becoming that sort of final girl. And we talked a lot with Daniela about her character might have to have those elements. Like, you know, we want to give characters that final girl mentality, and we want every character to feel that way. And you kind of, you know, obviously there are going to be characters that die that, you know, that's just going to be the way it was. But I remember a very early draft of the script. It was like, you know, the pizza guy shows up and just dies immediately. And I was like, Angel, like, what did that do really? Like, it didn't really do anything for us. It didn't advance anything. It didn't do anything else.
Yeah.
The one thing it did do was we had like trash cans and a raccoon. And I was talking to my buddy, Billy Coyne, who does effects and special horror effects. And he worked for the guys.
I know Billy Coyne.
You know Billy Coyne? Yeah, I thought you would in Massachusetts. I go deeper in Massachusetts, and I can get.
I know Billy Coyne.
Yeah, and we brought you know, some of our actors live up there too. But anyways, he did a movie called Crackoon, and for a second I was like, oh, let's put Crackoon in our movie too, and I was like, oh no, that's not our movie. Okay, that's fine. You know? But I just love the community of it too. Like obviously, you know, I'm 40 years old, but I see the power of social media. I found you guys on social media. You know, the connection is real. And that's how Angel and I connected. You know, Rick introduced us, and it was off to the races. We started talking about all these movies, and I got what he meant by the style of Rob Zombie, and I immediately went to him and I was like, "Wait, you want to do the style of Rob Zombie, and you want to put Danielle in the movie? Isn't that just a little far? Like, you want to do full Rob Zombie? Like, okay, you don't want to make rock music too, do you?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to make rock music." Okay.
But that's a thing of the horror community too. Especially with like, where it's horror fans making movies, people tend to go for that more, because nowadays, like the mainstream horror is just like, okay, well, you know, everything's pretty much the same thing. Everything is a copy, you know, a reboot or
Look
whatever.
At what happened to the Scream franchise? They jettisoned everybody over politics. Like, what's going on?
But then you look at like Adam Green, who was a horror fan that had made Hatchet. And
from
then you have like, so you have like Damien Leone making Terrifier. It's just the horror movie community sometimes a little too gatekeepy sometimes, but the fact is it's a passionate group. Yep. So especially when they see some of their own start making their stuff, it intrigues them. And going to talking about cons, not only do you have New Jersey Horror Con, but there's Monster Mania, which is another big one in New Jersey. Then there's Chiller, which is a little bit different. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's horror movies and everything, but you know, just throwing ideas out there. If you're looking to like, get some money, just, you know,
we're gonna hit Connecticut hard too. We talked about this. Look, there's this overlap with metal and horror in Worcester, and it's in Connecticut too. CT Horror Fest coming up has some great ones. Has Skeet Ulrich. I love Scream. I want to meet Skeet. Who else did they have?
Is that the one that Sosie Bacon's going to be at, or is that the one that's in Marlboro?
That might be
Sosie Bacon from Smile.
So, you know, I rewatched Smile the other night. Like, holy
she's
crap! Good. Talk about something scary, man.
I've liked her. I've liked her for a little bit. I like Smile a lot. I was psyched to see that she was in a movie. I worked with
Kevin Bacon a long time ago.
Oh, really? Yeah. So she's a kind of not a regular, but she's on a podcast that I watch a lot, and she's wicked funny. So then when I saw that she was in Smile, I'm like, I'm super psyched for it. I'm like, just hopefully it doesn't suck, you know?
Yeah.
And I went to saw it and I really liked it. So I'm
like, it's funny because I love her, but I love the poster and the first actress and the way she's smiling.
Yeah.
And then that's what got me in that movie. And then by the end, look, I like the trailers for the new one. I like what they're doing. But my buddy was like, dude, it's not going to be anywhere near as good. And I was like, maybe not. But they do have to answer what is this thing and where does it come from? And maybe that. And I've always wanted that from It Follows. So if Smile gives it to me before It Follows does, I'm fine with that.
I don't want to even talk about It Follows.
You don't like it?
No.
I never really liked, I told my buddy, he likes the Species series. I can't do it. It's too much sex and disgusting sex stuff. And that was kind of It Follows.
Now you're making me second guess Species. I have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, that's
a long time.
You want Species, but you don't want It Follows.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm a married man. I don't care about that stuff anymore. I mean, come on.
I never got Species. I never got where there were so many species and what it was. Whatever.
Species pieces.
So where'd the cast come from of this movie? Did you work with any of the actors or actresses before, or?
I'll let Angel, but I knew Rick. Rick DeMont plays our lead. You'll see him here. He plays Al, and he brought me to the project.
Mm-hmm. So, well, obviously, my wife. With Rick, we ended up looking up. I was looking for the Al, the protagonist, and she was like, "Oh yeah, there's this guy that I've worked with once before. You should check him out, Rick." And so they ended up having a kind of like a showcasing, actor showcase. I went over, I saw him acting, and almost instantly, I'm like, "That's the guy." So he comes up, I introduce myself, and he walks right up to me, and he just towers over me. I'm like, "You're the guy."
He's like, "What was that? I couldn't hear you. You're down way too low." I'm very tall.
Rick's one of those guys where like he's always been on the set. He's older than me. He's probably in his 50s. He I met him as a background actor, and I was hustling, and I was in locations, sort of lowly locations assistant, putting up signs and stuff, having to deal with background actors and whatever. Mm-hmm. And he just sort of saw me working hard and was like, make a friend. And then he was interviewing for something. He has a company called Sweaty Turtle, and he's produced a few movies. One of which was called Fraternitas, was pretty cool. It was about like hazing and stuff at a college. It wasn't really horror. Horror isn't necessarily his thing, although it was funny. We have only screened our trailer so far up at a place called the Avalon in Catskill. They were having a random screening of The Howling. Shout out to Angel. What's the company? What are the guys that had us for the screening?
Sleeping Trading Corporation.
Yes, Sleeping Trading Corporation. A very cool little enclave of horror there in like Hudson and Catskill, New York. Anyways, and I thought that was so cool, but to have it here with you guys is so much fun, and to be answering questions about our movie is really great. We do want to make the feature if we can, but I think in the meantime, we're just happy to be part of this community. And if I flash up here every now and then with a new short, that's kind of enough for me,
Yeah. And there are some. There's more cons popping up all the time.
All the time.
There's a new one that just started last year in Worcester, actually, called Dead of Winter. That it's a film festival and a horror con. It's got its second year coming up this year, and it's they have it at I'm trying to think of the name of the place. I totally forgot what it's called. It's in Worcester. It's like a beautiful venue.
The Palladium, now it's the DCU.
No, this is a place you would not expect a con to be, especially a horror.
Yeah,
con.
I would say, look, we're probably only going to cover
Mechanics Hall.
Mechanics Hall. We're probably only going to cover
beautiful.
The Northeast for now. Like, I think Oaks might be. I didn't go to the last Monster Mania because it sounded insane. They had Robert Englund and Clive Barker and all that, and I've heard those lines for.
Yeah,
the way they do Robert Englund now, let's just say, is hit an all-time high. I think.
Oh, really?
He's old enough that he can't sit, so you have to do pre. And I've heard that the autographs have gotten over $100, so you have to pre-order now because he can't sit.
I haven't seen him at a con in a very long time, and the last time I saw him, I'm like, I'll just get him next time. I make that mistake constantly. I made that mistake with Roddy Piper. I used to see him at Monster Mania all the time. I'm like, this dude looks like $1 million. I'll get him next time around. And I was like, God damn it.
Big They Live fan. Big They Live fan.
And big, like, just my youth,
I did
I'm
watch
serious.
wrestling to a certain point too. It's funny because I might have switched from wrestling to horror in an instant. My dad took us to one, and it was a cage match. And for what I remember, I have not looked this up, but it was a cage match between Hulk Hogan and Sergeant Slaughter, and there was so much blood that I didn't want to talk about it with anybody. And I don't really remember. I remember a lot of blood.
Therapy. Yeah,
a lot of blood.
I'm almost 10 years older than you, Michael. So like I'm going way back. I'm an old man.
So you remember that match?
No, but I remember Bobby the Brain Heenan's neck getting snapped at a Piper's Pit at the Centrum before it was a DCU center. That's why he wore the neck brace forever. But yeah, we've been talking about the trailer a little bit. I think we should play it, and then we'll talk a little bit more. And give me one second because we're playing it.
Oh, thank you guys again. This is so much fun.
Give me one sec. I may have jumped the gun. I haven't uploaded the trailer yet.
Tony, what's your favorite scary movie?
Favorite scary movie is Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, Killer Clowns. Nice.
Scariest movie still is The Exorcist to me. That crab walk up back.
I still have to watch that.
You haven't watched it?
The original one? No. I've seen
wow.
I think The Exorcism of Emily Rose, but no, that's
Yeah,
different.
no, that's different.
That's
No,
different.
That's way different.
Exorcist. I saw Exorcist when
Tony, isn't there supposed to be a Killer Clown show or something? Aren't they doing
Yeah,
something?
well, they made a video game first, and then I think with the popularity of the video game sales, I think they're gonna make like a.
I think you're right. I think that Night at Freddy's with all that. That was pretty. I saw that. It was funny. I took my buddy to that, and he thought it was a Freddy Krueger movie. And I'm like, no. It's totally different. This is a video game thing.
I'm actually curious, considering you're not a child, how you would feel about The Exorcist watching it now, like if it would affect you, considering that she's also seen other horror movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it would affect her as much as it would
for Daniela, I think it would. The parenting part of it, that it's the child that has it. I think she would connect with that part of it.
What do you think, Angel?
Out of all the scenes, I think the one scene that will mess her up the same way it messed me up is that one scene. It's that scene.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That scene.
Oh.
I was like 9 years old when I saw that scene, and I was just like, okay,
But it's just like with Poltergeist. There were scenes in that really affected me as a kid, and watch it now, I'm like, that's obviously just a dude with like a fake head on his shoulders going like this, ripping his face off.
There were two other things that really affected me young. One I'm fine with, and I actually saw the requel or whatever you want to call it this weekend. My dad took us to see Alien, Aliens maybe, I think, depending on my age. Way too young. I was way too young to be. I think it was Aliens because I remember Bill Pullman. And way too young to see that, and then way too young watching Freddy. Freddy literally got in my head. Like, I believe that Freddy was in my brain, and I wasn't going to be able to get him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember growing up, like dressing up as Freddy before I'd seen the movies, like dressing up for Halloween.
No, I specifically remember dressing up that year as like a California raisin, and I saw Freddy, and I should have. And my parents were really scary that year. It was like my mom was a weird Dr. Giggles, and my stepdad was like her patient who was dead, and there was a lot of blood. And I was like, wow, you guys really went for it. And I'm a California raisin over here.
I'm a raisin. I'm a good source of fiber.
I sing and I dance and I have a
meatballs for a couple of years because
it was one of those really cheap where it's just two sides of foam and you just put it on the kid.
The movie Meatballs.
Bill Murray.
No. I haven't. I stopped eating meatballs because of Freddy.
Okay.
He was like the movie Meatballs.
I thought you meant the movie Meatballs with
maybe
Bill
Meatballs
Murray.
2 with the alien.
Meatballs 5.
Yeah. Meatballs 2 with that weird alien guy after E.T. came out.
There are some things that I think you can loop into horror, like how long the Police Academy series goes does delve into horror. I think, like, do we need 8 Police Academy movies? I don't know about that.
We didn't need as many Nightmare on Elm Streets as we got.
Yeah,
you have to admit. No. You have to admit they started declining pretty quickly after maybe like.
Yeah,
4.
no, you're right, but I think. Look,
5. You think 5?
Freddy.
I think 5. After Dream Warriors, I think it started going down.
All right,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree, but the fact that Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold were in one,
that
just says right there.
Fun fact. the reason why Ghostface mask has never really changed in Scream is actually because Wes Craven has regretted the decision of changing the mask in New Nightmare.
Oh, that's a good. Yeah, the way his musculature,
that whole weird
sorta,
skin.
Yeah.
It just progressively looks like a cheaper and cheaper melted pizza.
Yes.
Like, oh, this one, he's no longer like the cheap.
Pizza. It's still good.
He's not the cheap pizza place around the corner. Now he's like Little Caesars cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like one of those.
Well,
$5 pizza.
I recently met Lisa Wilcox and Michael Bailey Smith, and actually, I'll show you guys this cool thing if it comes through. But my buddy makes these Mike's Monsters in Stamford, Connecticut. He has a buddy 3D prints this stuff. You can get any logo you want, Tony. Anything you want, like whatever. You can wear it as a chain, like the kids do for football games.
Like Flavor Flav would.
Like instead of you're not an Eagles fan, are you? Please say you're not an Eagles fan. Okay, Jets. Then it's got to be Jets.
Giants.
Okay, so you could get the NYG and put it here, or you could get Freddie and put it here. But Michael Bailey Smith signed it there, and I asked him point blank, and he did not know. I said, Michael Bailey Smith, who owns the rights to Super Freddie? Where is Super Freddie? Can we do Super Freddie? He was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, I got to get on that because that I think is a great idea. He played Super Freddie for like 5 minutes in that movie, and it's like, where is that character? That's a lot of fun. That character.
I have a 3D printer as well, Tony. I'm just saying, I'm not going to take away business from his friend, but I could.
I've seen many of things you've made.
I know some of them are ridiculous.
He's got those, and he's got
from Goonies as Godzilla. I've made that.
He's got these cool knives that he makes where he prints the movie stuff, so you can have like a Child's Play, like butcher knife, or you can have like, I guess you could even print the blade for the chainsaw for Leatherface if you wanted. Jeez, that'd be extreme.
I did. It's called like a lithograph, where it just looks like bumps. It looks like a topographical like map, but if you put a light behind it, an image will come through.
Like Han Solo in the graphite kind of? Like that?
But I did one of for Terrifier of art for Terrifier 2 with art in one end and the main girl from Terrifier.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
I forgot it too. I put it in a VHS tape and with the lights behind it.
Oh, that's cool.
And I gave it to him. I moderated a panel for him a couple cons ago up in upstate New York. For the Sci-Fi Horror Fest.
That one in Hudson, the one that's
this is up in Verona, New York at Vernon Downs Casino. Yep. I was just there this past weekend, and I moderated a bunch of panels up there. And I got a tattoo
too. What'd you play? Yeah,
I got a Candyman tattoo because I've wanted one for a while.
Candyman, nice.
So it's a bee. It's a bee with a hook hand instead of a hook. Instead of a stinger, it's got a hook for the stinger. Cool. And it's upside down right now.
I have a bee tattoo, but it's not necessarily Candyman.
Well, this is Candyman. Because Tony Todd's the man. I'm just letting you know that. In case you didn't know.
My tattoo artist is Kenny K-Bar, just so you know.
Well, I have a tattoo artist who did all my other tattoos except for this one and another one. And his name is Morgan Freeman.
Wow, he's the president of the United States.
No, but he does have Morgan Freeman, vote Morgan Freeman for president stickers. But he's a white guy with red hair.
It fits.
Yeah,
like Michael Rappaport. Yeah.
But I do have the trailer loaded, so we can play it.
You teased us.
I did.
I'm pretty sure I have family watching.
Hey, family, get ready for Cabn Break, the trailer.
Thank you guys again.
Yeah, we'll be right back in a minute and 23 seconds. Here we go.
I am going to enjoy having you.
I hope you're hungry. I made a mess of food.
Butch, where's the bathroom?
It is right down the hall and to your left, sweetie.
So can you still shoot with that hand? I can. Whoa.
You boys and your guns.
What the fuck is going on? I always tend to prefer the dark meat. Why? It's the melanin. Makes it taste better. Hunter, take Lucas to be prepped. And after, bring Janice to her room.
Oh, and honey, be careful with her. She's
So I'm so glad you could make it. Come on in.
So yeah, there you go. There's the trailer / proof of concept for Cabn Break, and fingers
Online
crossed.
premiere. Heard it here
Fingers
first.
crossed we get a short out of it, and then after that, fingers crossed we get a full-length feature out of it. Fingers crossed. All of my fingers, all of my toes, and my eyes.
You ever think about doing what do you want to call it, Indiegogo or anything?
We might need to finish the short. We're not quite sure yet, but we don't think so. But the idea would be that it's a entente here because my director's name is Angel, but angel investors, private investors who see us maybe on your show, maybe on another show. We're on another show on Friday called Whispers of Horror. It's a little more video game horror stuff. And then we're at Hudson Valley Horror Fest all weekend in Fishkill. We'll get a lot more cons coming up. Definitely want to meet people, see people. If you like it, go follow us everywhere, talk to us, and make stuff with us, including you, Tony. I know you got scripts. Come on, man.
You already said you all these ideas you're holding from me.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to leave his room. Look,
none of them specifically.
He's the monkey with the typewriter. That's fine.
I just want to point out that Sergio said, not that bad. It's good to me.
I see that Sergio pops in. I want to know Sergio.
But sometimes it's like, okay, that's too much. It's too like, okay, that's too scary looking, or that's too gory, or whatever. So like, he means like, all right, that's not too over the top. I'm good. Yeah, it's a good thing.
I did say that we held back. I did say that, and I think you see though. Like my favorite shot of the whole thing is when our actress Diana, when she looks over her shoulder to look at her. Something about that shot. I could just watch that shot. Like I don't know what it is. It's all there for me. But you get it. They're sitting at the table. They're at the dinner table. It's sort of supposed to be. Look, I'm very Italian, and you break bread with people, and that means something. And it does here too, but it means something darker, and that's kind of what we're going for. And Rick really kills it there as Al, and Diana's great in the bathroom. And I hadn't seen that cut with that music, and I like it. I like it a lot.
So that's the progression you're seeing happening, right? Is next step is a short.
We have the idea was we go in, we got to get the trailer, and we had some circumstances that had it that way. And then I was like, look, but we're going into it, but we can get the short too, right, Angel? Like, can we do it that way? Look, we had some strikes and gutters. We were going to film it in Mass, actually, like South Shore, Mass. And then we were kind of rolled back on that. We didn't have the money for that. And Angel ended up shooting it, in Poughkeepsie. And it worked, and we made it work. And I think that's half the battle. I mean, a lot of people, like I said, I've been in this industry a while, not necessarily exactly horror. Like I've made some horror stuff and whatever. I've seen someone do this bad. I did this a while ago in Gloucester. Guy had 20 grand, and we did make a horror movie, and you can see it now on some streamings, and it's called Crypsis. And it's not good. The monster was great, and we paid a lot for the monster, but the guy wouldn't listen to anyone. He wouldn't take any criticism. This is a collaborative art form, right? And when I met Angel, one of the things he said more recently that I thought was pretty intuitive, he said, like, I always want to do this. I'd been in the industry just a little, and I want to do something. I just didn't know everybody. I just didn't have it all. And he's like, you have it all. You've been in this industry forever. You know FX guys and wardrobe people, and you know how to park the trucks, and you know what the camera is, and you know a red camera, and you know this new camera, and you know how to do the call sheets, and you know all of it, and you got a guy. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I got a guy. I mean, a non-gendered person for anything. But the expression, got a guy. And that's what I brought to him. I just have opened my mind and given him what I have, and creatively he's put it to the page and used my guidance to make this, and we've made this. And yes, I'm overseeing the chessboard, but like he is the king on the chessboard. And this is good. And this is the first thing he's ever done. You guys know this. The first thing someone ever does is not the best thing that they'll ever do, no matter how great it is. This is pretty good. So we can only get better, right? So all I need is the community and come to me, flock to me or whatever.
Well, that's the thing. Let's start with the trailer, which shows definitely some promise there.
That's
Then you go to the short, which is going to be even more
up the game.
Promise. By the time you guys get to the full length feature, guys, this Angel's going to be an old pro.
Yeah, we're talking like Johnny Mnemonic, type of stuff. Yeah.
And that's the thing with social media. I mean, the horror community especially on TikTok, is just second to none. It just seems like it's growing there, and
we'll have to meet you there, Tony. Yeah, we'll have to meet you there.
So yeah,
you're right. You're right. I mean, look, there's 2 billion eyeballs over there looking at us. Yeah, why wouldn't you do it? Government wants to shut it down, even better. Do a horror movie about it. It's even better. We're even looking into just to hit all the topics in horror. The open IP stuff. We don't really want to do Mickey Mouse, but I heard Tales from the Crypt in a few years. There's a couple other older stories. Roald Dahl's stuff, some fairy tale stuff. I don't love the Winnie the Pooh stuff, but I respect what they're doing over there. I really do.
The Mickey Mouse thing's already going to be shared universe.
Yeah, that Mickey Mouse needs to come out though. I'm looking.
It is happening.
Yeah, the Showboat or something.
Screamboat.
Yeah, it's the same guys from Fuzz on the Lens.
Fuzz on the Lens.
We had
Scream guys are doing Screamboat with David Howard Thornton as Mickey.
Yeah, Michael on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Michael's incredible. Yeah, I missed him. I was only at HorrorCon Friday night because I had some other stuff that weekend. They were there the rest of the weekend. And I don't want to step in anything there. I've talked to other people who did Terrifier 2 who were not on Terrifier 3 and this and that, whatever. We're new, we're tiny. I'm not trying to be any of that. Yeah, we're nowhere near that yet. But those guys are doing incredible stuff. Yeah, Stream comes out like now, like tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It's incredible. It's just a whole culture right now. I mean, look, I've seen the new Alien. I've seen the new Omen. I have not seen Longlegs, so don't say boo about that.
I saw Longlegs.
It's a great time to be alive if you're a horror fan, really.
I'm not saying anything negative about Longlegs at all. It's because I didn't dislike it at all.
But it wasn't the scariest thing you've ever seen.
No, but it definitely gave me some Silence of the Lamb vibes, which is not a bad thing, in my opinion, whatsoever. Like that whole uncomfortable, like when they show up at a place, it's like, oh, is this going to be it? Is this going to be it? Like, especially like at the end of Silence of the Lambs where you see them like surrounding the house and breaking, and then you realize they're at the wrong house. In Silence of the Lambs, like, oh my.
I love with editing, you can do that. You make it look like, it's all happening.
That's another movie that I've seen a billion times, but my heart gets going every time they're still going to the wrong house.
Yeah.
It's done so well. I'm like,
I don't want to give more away, but for some of our stuff, we talked about Hannibal and Red Dragon and actually the Hannibal show with Max Mikkelsen, if you've seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I worked on a show for a little while called Prodigal Son that was pretty cool. I was with Lou Diamond Phillips in new meat packing in the city with like fake human limbs in the meat locker with the stuff with Lou Diamond Phillips. That was really cool. Lou Diamond Phillips, really
La Bamba, right?
Right. I mean, Ricky, come on, baby. Or Young Guns, buddy. My buddy Chris is a huge Young Guns fan.
I'm a La Bamba man myself.
La Bamba's good. Out of all of them, I don't do Big Bopper. I don't do any of that.
Whatever. The Big Bopper is what he is, but the Buddy Holly story movie was pretty damn good too. But now that dude is a crazy
Gary Busey
who assaults people at Monster Mania. Who am I to say?
Yeah, we were at that Monster Mania, and then his line was so long, and I'm like, I'll go back to him, and then I'm like, it just got longer, and then I heard what happened, and I'm like, forget it.
Using somebody.
Okay, good thing.
And the thing that kills me is that we had a guest on years ago who thought that she told us the same, like that's a story about that on the air, but it was after we were done. And then she's like, oh my God, I told that story on the air. You have to take it down. Like, it was live.
It's not even there, girl.
And then she's like, no, that story I told you about Gary. I'm like, no, that was after the show. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, we can go back right now and look. We can go back right now.
Review the footage.
Right. And it wasn't there, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, you should have left it in there. You should have said it on the show, because maybe how many other people did he do this to?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
this was this was a while ago.
No,
that this
that's very
happened.
progressive of you to say that, though.
Well, I even thought it back then, though. I'm like, well,
No,
say
it's
something
good.
now, it won't happen next
I had a
year.
conversation with my buddy. I lost a couple of pegs of respect from Tarantino just with the whole Weinstein thing, and I don't want to go into all that, but just I just thought a tiny bit of respect there, you know.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
He went
I
back
love
to the well a
Tarantino's-
million times. He went back to Weinstein. He didn't have to do that, you know.
Yeah, I enjoy Quentin Tarantino's movies. I would never want to hang out with the man.
No.
This seems like a strange dude to want to hang out with.
I mean,
But
we're
anyways-
strange too in our own way, but yeah.
Yeah, but not that strange.
Into feet, like really into feet.
Well, I understand a good pair of shoes, but I mean, dad has shoes on him. You know, the feet has to have shoes. So Sergio always likes to remind us that it's 10. It's actually a little after 10 now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he has appointments somewhere else. I don't know. But so for anyone who's watching the show now or listening to the show a week from now, by the way,
that's
you
when
missed
the podcast is up in a week.
Well, the live show is going to be on Facebook and it's going to be on YouTube. It's there now.
Forever.
Yeah. And then the audio podcast will go up next Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
So it gives the people that do the visual side a leg up, you know? But
with those peepers.
but they listened to the trailer. They didn't watch the trailer. Fools. Anyways, for those people, where can they follow you guys if they want to maybe be one of those donators to help support your dream?
Yeah, you can go to our Instagram at Dark Cabin Production, at Dark Cabin Production. We also have a YouTube channel which will have the trailer up. You can search Dark Cabin Production, and we also have our website is darkcabinproduction.com.
Nice.
But I think more directly, you know, Tony has all 9 of his fingers, so we'll just take like 2 of them, and he can just be like our little 2-finger secretary.
That's
so like write Wicked Horror Show about us and say, hey Tony, there you go. Yeah, those 2, the 2 thumbs. Yeah, exactly.
It's 27 fingers now.
Yeah.
No, this is so much fun though, guys. You guys are really a hoot. This was really a lot of fun. Thank you for indulging us and asking us questions. And we got a lot more in common. So you want to do this again sometime? You don't gotta pay me. So you know.
Yeah, definitely. And do you guys do you have any like personal Instagrams that you like people to follow?
I think I hit you on mine. Look, my personal is at it's Ricci ITZTRICCI. Hit me up, especially if it's about things. I'll send you over to Cabn Break, or we'll talk separately about other stuff. I do work on television and films. You'll see some stuff I did coming up on FX about Aaron Hernandez. You've hopefully seen a show on Hulu about the Wu-Tang Clan that we made in New Jersey and Tony's backyard. And we want to do a lot more of that. Netflix is building a studio in Monmouth, New Jersey. There's a lot of great stuff there. And then I'm on another YouTube show that you guys, I'd love to see if I can get you guys on at some point. It's called VCR Redux. We're on tomorrow night. We take a shot at like pitching sequels to movies. I don't want to go too far on a legend. I don't know that you guys would know this one, but we're doing Mac and Me tomorrow night.
My wife adores that movie.
Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, there you go, Tony. Yeah, Tony. Oh my God. I just met my soulmate.
Hold on,
oh
wait.
my God. No,
that's Mac and Me, but it's an adult version. There you go.
Oh my God. And you're talking to a guy with that movie, just a quick plug there, that like didn't even find it till Paul Rudd told me about it. But I love Mystery Science Theater, so I saw it there, and that's kind of my jam. And
yeah,
that show's a lot of fun, not like this at all. And I'm trying to like pigeonhole horror into that one. But check that one out. We have some fun there too.
Nice. And Angel, do you guys have any personal stuff like Instagram or anything?
Yeah, it's for myself is Angel Rosario Films, and for Daniela,
my Instagram's it's Daniela, and you can find more about Cabn Break there, as well as some of my acting journey.
Yeah, your other stuff. You said you were on Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah. I spent I was there for like all of season 1. Background work and some stand-in work, but you'll see
awesome.
me in the background a good few bits. And
yeah, my wife watched the shit out of that show. So
good.
She's all about it. So I'll have to be like, guess who? It's weird. She'll be like, who's on the show? And I'll show her a picture, and she's like, that person was on Dawson's Creek in like season whatever. I'm like, that was how long ago? Like, whatever.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
A little plug for Hudson Valley Horror Fest. I want to talk, about that and what Danielle is doing, with Michelle Santiago, who's going to be there from Terrifier and Stream and Fallout, among other things. And that's her jam, is doing all that background work. And she's worked on like 10 shows that I've scouted for, like Manifest and other shows. There's a lot of that work you can do in New York and New Jersey and in Boston too. Those markets are all pretty good. I mean, Atlanta is the other big market now. But yeah, that work is good work, like almost like blue collar work you can do in this industry.
It's funny because I've actually tried for background work and I've never been accepted.
There was actually, so Tony would have heard about this. Tony, did you hear about the big one like yesterday, today?
Mm-hmm.
Happy Gilmore 2.
Oh yeah, I've
seen
the
block. Their stage, where's their stage? Munaki, I think, is their stage.
Oh, Pat from Munaki. That makes me
think
of Opie and Anthony.
Exactly.
It makes me think of Opie and Anthony from back in the day. Anyways, Tony, what about yourself? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, which I haven't done videos on there much, but you have anything movie related, reviews, stuff like that, showing off the collection. You can find me there. Tony Has 9 Fingers on X, which I don't use, but it's still in my little spiel. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, which is my fastest growing social media. You'll find me there mostly talking, reviewing stuff, talking movies, showing off the collection. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I show off the movies behind me. And of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, whether we have awesome guests or it's just horror movie talk, find us here. Again, join us on Tuesday night so you can watch the trailers, ask questions, learn, and you get a week advantage over just the listeners. Nothing against the listeners, but
yeah, the viewers knew about the stream premiere weeks ago.
Watching it, watching it is a little bit different. So
it is.
Definitely check us out. Kevin.
Just a knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing this show with the adorable Tony Has 9 Fingers. I also do That Strange Show with Angel, Ryan, and Mandy, and the occasional re-education of Nancy Ann Ritter with Nancy Ann Ritter and my friend Jeremy, where we educate her on horror, iconic horror, because she knows nothing about it. So we make her watch movies, and then she has to give her honest opinion on the movies we tell her to watch. She's also the girlfriend of Tony Moran, who was one of the original Michael Myers. And I don't know how she doesn't know anything about horror movies, but she doesn't. And she does the horror conventions too. So it's weird. She's like, I'm next to these people. I don't know who they are. I'm like, all right, Michael Berryman, you know him from the conventions.
Yeah.
Watch The Hills Have Eyes. Here you go.
He's a very distinctive looking individual.
Yeah. I did a panel for him this past weekend. He's a great dude. He's got so many awesome stories. Great guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys. Like, who was it? They just did have the Nightmare 4 and 5 panel at HorrorCon, and there was the Dream Child.
Wilcox. And...
Yeah, but who was the Dream Child guy? He's sort of specialty too, right? Because he's like 4 feet tall or whatever, and it's like
I remember his name.
For me, it's just amazing how horror takes all kinds. You could have like one eye in the middle of your forehead, and if you're great at what you do, and it's fine. And like Michael Berryman, like who was it? There's the other guy who's kind of like Michael Berryman.
In his defense, whatever. His first role that he actually got was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is like one of my all-time favorite movies. And
see, Kevin, I didn't want to say this early because I don't know you that well, but like I just got to say it because it's in my brain. Like I would give you some Sid Haig. You got some Sid Haig in you, Okay.
Well, his birthday is the same exact birthday as my dad, like year, day, everything.
Wow.
But my dad's still around. And we've had Sid on the show. I've done panels with him at conventions.
And like side by side, you don't think, Tony, there's a little something going on there?
A little bit.
I just have a bald head and a beard. That's all it is.
So for the Halloween special, you have to do the.
But you know what? Every bald guy with a beard does at horror conventions? They dress up like Captain Spaulding. Is what they do.
That's what they do. Yeah.
I ain't gonna do that.
Or who's the other character actor? The guy who was the ice cream man.
Clint Howard.
Yeah.
Don't even say I look like Clint Howard.
No, you don't. That's an insult. I'm sorry.
Christ. Oof. Like, wow. Anyways, No, but it's yeah.
I'm uninviting myself from.
No, you don't have to do that. I'm just like Clint Howard is not a looker. I'm not saying I am.
You said really bald guys with beard. Well, Clint Howard doesn't have a beard, so I guess.
Right. Well, maybe he's grown one. Who knows? We'll have to see how it works with him. But yeah. So I have some cons too that maybe you guys would be interested in down the road. That are always looking for cool guests and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think Oaks, like like South, like maybe even Baltimore might be the furthest for now, but anything north of that, but probably not into Maine. But and then the stuff I do for VCR Redux, that's these guys, Fandom Spotlight. They cover a ton of panels, and they want to cover more, like the remote ones. And we've sort of been looking for like a mobile force for them to do that. So if there are people that are real bastions of a certain con and it doesn't have coverage, and we can get someone there with a camera to get the panels and stuff, there's a lot of big market for that. To get
there is
panels. Yeah,
there is. We like. Usually back in the day when me and my cousin Leo would go out and do stuff, I would be doing panels and he would be streaming them like live and stuff like that. But
maybe from a con or a fest.
Yeah, that's what he would be doing. We'd be doing them live at a con, and he'd be streaming them live from there. But it was just me, so nothing got streamed, and there was no video taken. There was no nothing. So
it's just like all right of you alone.
It's just like all my they're all selfies.
The top shot, so you don't see the body.
But yeah, it was. I mean, it was fun. Eventually, we'll figure that out. But I already got invited back.
Can be rough. Like
I got invited back to the con I did last weekend. I got an invitation back for 2025 before I even got home.
You gotta like that. So I went to school in at University of South Carolina. And they have something right there in Columbia. And so like I wanted to submit our stuff. And they're like, we're kind of jam-packed. And they were already like next year. And I was like, I'll go around again and that'll be the end of the cycle. But yeah, I'll do that. And that's where I went to college, right up the street. So I can kind of plant my flag where I did before. That's kind of fun. Yeah, and I can go up on a stage there and say, hey, this is our movie. And I was a student here. You can do it too,
You can do it.
And I love that.
Nice. Cool.
Nice.
Well, my wife's coming up here, so I got to let you guys go.
Okay, cool.
She's looking at me like she's going to murder me. Anyways, have a good night, everyone.
Thanks again, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
1 second. It's ending.